welcome to this Life Lesson Friday episode of the Confidence Through Health podcast. Today, I want to talk about how sometimes we have to purge the things that no longer fit in our life that we don't really realize are still a part of our lives because our goals change, our direction changes sometimes because of our goals changing. And that sometimes things act upon us that change our life that aren't necessarily the goals that we want, but it just changes the trajectory of our life. And we hang on to things. And whether it's because we have this idea that someday in the future I'm going to need it, or it's put off to the side and we just don't see it, or maybe we see it all the time, but just think to ourselves, I'll get to that someday, I'll get to that someday, I'll get to that someday. The act of purging those things can play a huge benefit in your mental health, your stress level, your there's a piece of it that ties into the relationship you have with giving up that past part of you and truly signifying that you've grown into this new person on this new path. And a quick example of something that I did this week. In fact, right before I got on here, I was still completing this task. And in the past, I've had corporate jobs and jobs where I had to dress up nice, like jobs where I've had to wear a suit every day, which I really didn't like. Now I wear my branded shirt because I have my own business. I wear shorts pretty much every day. Um, I wear comfortable socks, comfortable shoes. Like I get to pick my clothing and I get to pick what I want to wear. But because of that past job, and I've done this for over 8 years, but because of those past jobs, and the need to be like, oh, I'll need to wear a suit to somebody's wedding or to somebody's funeral or to somebody's graduation or whatever event is going to happen that, I'll need to wear a suit. And I have one suit that fits me. I have Now I've condensed it down to four pair of slacks that are different colors. But yet, the one thing that I still had not purged was my sock drawer. I got rid of 17 pairs of dress socks, a lot of which were already stretched out, but I kept them anyway because they were a different color, a different style, a different pattern. And I used to have to wear a lot of dress socks. And people might not notice if you wear this, for guys at least, if you wear the same slacks, because it's just not, but they notice if you're wearing the same style of sock, the same pattern of sock. So I looked at, I get rid of 17 pair and I still probably have 17 pair um, of different colors, different styles, different patterns. So I need to go back and purge some more and just say, no, like I wear slacks probably at most once a month. I wear a suit probably at most 4 times a year. So why do I have 17 pairs of socks? Or before I did the initial purge, 34 pairs of socks. Like it makes zero sense because nobody is going to notice if I wear the same pattern or style of sock because it's so infrequent. Nobody's going to keep track of it. I'm not going to an office every day where people might go, those socks look familiar. Like nobody's going to notice that, right? Same thing with like ties. Like nobody's going to notice if I purge my ties, which I probably need to do because I think I've got like 40 or 50 ties because I used to have to wear them all the time, whether it was a suit or just a tie with, a button down and slacks. But now it's like, you know what? Get rid of that. Make room for the things that actually I utilize and use because one of the things I utilize a lot, if you know me, if you've paid attention, you know that I'm a runner. I run a lot. And yeah, I have 10 to 15 pairs of running shorts or running slack, like tights, like longer running pants. and that drawer is overflowing. But yet I had this space taken up by these socks that I did not use, that they did not move, that like they just sat there. And I'm like, why am I wasting this space and having this other space that's overflowing when I could purge, reshuffle how I've done things, and things settle when you do that. Sort of like with your brain. Your brain will settle when you purge things out of your brain that are taking up space, tasks that need to be done that you're putting off, things that are ideas, write them down so you don't have to think about them over and over and over, going, I hope I don't forget. I hope I don't forget. I hope I don't forget. Like write it down or put it in a note app in your phone. Put it somewhere where you can come back to it when you've got the actual time to go over and do whatever that is. The grocery list, don't try and keep it in your head, write it down somewhere. That's all purging. It's all purging information and putting it somewhere, right? I get to donate my socks to an organization that can give them to somebody that might use them, that probably will use them. So, like, instead of sitting in my drawer for 8 years and the majority of them not being used at all, 8 years, there's probably 30 pair in there that haven't been used. I could probably cut it down to like 6 pair of socks, and I've still got probably 17 pair in there. I could probably cut it down to six. So, what are the things in your life that you're hanging on to that you know you probably need to purge? There's things that are going to help your mental health that are out there that you know you need to purge that can help with that. There's things that are going to help your physical health. There's things that are going to help your stress level with work, with relationships. All these things that we hang on to because we think we're going to need them in the future. We think they're going to be important. Now, are there things that we use? Yeah, absolutely. Like my running shorts, I use them all the time. I'm not purging my running shorts. I wait until they wear out and then I get rid of them. But I bet if I was to look, I didn't look because I was just like picking the style, picking. I bet if I looked at those socks closely, there's probably some that have little holes here and there that were starting to develop. It's been 8 years. I totally forget. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. But utilizing that idea, right? We used to have this spring cleaning was a part of life. It's not really a part of life in most people's lives anymore. They don't do this massive spring cleaning like what was done in previous generations. We may think about it, we may say it's spring cleaning time, but I don't know a lot of people that actually do it like it used to be done back decades ago. So I suggest that we probably should do that on an occasion. Maybe not spring cleaning, but on an occasion, pick an area that you know is cluttered up, that is piled up with stuff, that is the storage area that is taking things that you know you don't utilize that much and remove them from your life. And not to remove them to then restack that area with something else. Like don't remove them and then go repurchase just to fill it back up, unless those are things that you utilize all the time. Like my drawers, I took those socks out, I reutilized the area and put some of my running stuff in those positions to spread the balance out. And when we can do that, I think our lives get a little bit less complicated, a little bit less stressful. We clear, like I said, we clear the clutter out a little bit. We do that with our physical things. We can do that with our mental health. We can do that with our physical health. There's so many areas of life where we can and should be doing this on a regular basis. So that's the Life Lesson Friday for this episode of the Confidence Through Health podcast.